All right. Sounds good, man. We'll get rocking and rolling. We'll get some folks on here. And Rochelle is finishing up an application, of course. She's really hustling this week. I challenged her to get 10,000 this week. She just might do it. She's definitely hustling. That's kind of cracks me up, man. Some people can just turn it on, just like a faucet. You know, if they want to do 10,000, do 10,000. We don't feel like doing 10,000, they just do whatever. Just kind of cracks me up, huh?
Hey, what's up, Alex?
Hey, how you doing, Gabriel?
Good, good.
All right.
Quick question. I sent you a text yesterday. I'm sure you were busy. I'm not sure if you saw it or
Oh,
not.
what was it?
I just needed to talk to you whenever you get a chance because I went through three of the calls
Oh,
and I froze up on a couple of them. One
yeah.
of the gentlemen told me he just got diagnosed with cancer, and I didn't know exactly what to do with the information besides
Yeah,
tell him
that's
I'm sorry
great.
to hear.
Actually, yeah, let's talk about that. Um, I would just tell them, look, I'm sorry to hear that. Um, we can get you covered. Even though you have cancer, we have products that will cover you. The full benefits available 2 years in 2 years. But if anything does happen to you between now and then, your beneficiaries will get the premiums plus 10%. So, this would be a good time to go ahead and get that started and let the 2 year clock start ticking now, sooner than later. And so I'd still go for it because we can do guaranteed issue, should be like Great Western. And, so yeah,
Well,
but
pretty
yeah, go
pretty
ahead.
pretty much he told me he was just diagnosed with colon cancer. So I called him yesterday, so 2 days prior. So I didn't want to keep talking about death since I'm sure he's heard enough about it because it's colon cancer, stage 3.
Okay. Stage three. Yeah.
So and from my understanding of colon cancer, it's the survival rate isn't great. So
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's dealing with a lot. Um, just
I pretty much just offered him any assistance with anything else in the meantime. I told him I'd call him at a later date to reach out if
Yeah,
he
that's
needed
cool.
with anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's cool.
yeah. But anyways, that's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a good one to bring up, certainly. You know. Um, yeah. Never know, right? You never know. Here's the thing about that. Um, it's amazing how a lot of people tell us, no, I'm not interested, or I'll just save the money, or right? All kinds of reasons why they don't want to get insurance. And then the minute they find out they have cancer, they start getting interested in life insurance, right? It's like, dude, come on, man. Don't make me laugh because you had a chance to get it taken care of, but you didn't. And now that you have a cancer diagnosis like this, okay, I'm giving you a mentality, right? I'm giving you a mentality. It's important to understand mentality of what we do in the field. So, because this is important, you can't be, I was going to use a word that probably wasn't very kind. You can't be a wimp. See, understand what your job is. Your job is to cover people and cover families so that should they die before they want to, should they get diagnosed with a terminal illness, you know, that their families are going to be okay financially, or they're going to worry about paying for a funeral with a GoFundMe page, right? And so I used to teach this on boot when I used to do weekly boot camps. I used to do a boot camp Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 hours from 9 to 11 on Tuesday, 9 to 11 on Wednesday, and 9 to 11 on Thursday. And I did that for 9 months I only missed 2 weeks in 9 months of doing a weekly boot camp for new agents. And well, here's what was interesting about that is I didn't get any more people writing insurance than when I didn't do it. And I measured the numbers after 9 months. And it was kind of an interesting thing. The mentality that I was trying to convey on the Tuesday night one of the boot camp is that pretend when you're sitting down with the client that you have been given the gift of knowing they're going to die. And you know they're going to die Monday and you're there Thursday. But if you tell them that they're going to die Monday, they're going to die right there. Okay. That's the game. So what would you do to get the client covered before he dies on Monday at 9 a.m. of a heart attack? What would you do? What would you tell them? What stories would you give them? What would you do? Okay, so I'll give you a personal story. So back, I think 15 years ago, I don't know if you guys remember the police riots in over the Rhine in Cincinnati. You remember, it was about 15 years ago. You know, there was riots and race relation issues in Cincinnati. I think other parts of the country, but you know, in Cincinnati, it got pretty bad. You know, anyway, so I had an appointment Friday with a police officer, and I showed up to the house. His wife was there, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. You know, my husband got called in because of the riots, and you know, can we reschedule for next Friday?" I said, "Okay, all right." So I called to confirm on like Wednesday or Thursday the next week, right? And so I get the wife on the phone. I go, "Hey, this is Alex. I just, want to make sure that we're still on for Friday with with you and your husband." And she got quiet. And then she says, "I don't know if we can meet." I said, "Why not?" "My husband just got diagnosed on Tuesday with testicular cancer. No, prostate cancer, because his PSA levels were elevated on a test. And then he went in and it looks like cancer." I'm going, "Oh man." So there was nothing I could do at that point, right? Because had I been able to write him up Friday, he could have gotten covered because he had no knowledge of anything wrong with him, right? He had no knowledge. So we could have written the app and boom, we could have got it done. But the circumstances were such that we were not able to do it. And trust me, when I pound my leads back in the day, I pound them hard. So that lead wasn't sitting around on my desk for a long time, but I got to him when I could get to him. And then circumstances were such. I never found out whatever happened to after that cancer diagnosis. But, those are things that happen, right? You can't, there's some things out of your control. But, when you think about the things that are in your control when you're sitting down with someone, what are you willing to do to be bold enough to get them to take care of their families? "Well, Alex, I don't want to be a pushy salesperson." Oh my gosh, seriously, you're going to give me that one, huh? "I don't want to be a pushy salesperson." Well, then I'll say it kindly. Then I don't think that you really understand your job. And here's the thing. When you think you're pushy, you're not even close. You are not even close. And typically people that say that, they tend to be kind of wimpy anyway. They're not bold enough. They don't close because they're worried about what people think of them, right? You're worried that people will think you're a pushy salesperson. And if you're getting into the sales business for self-validation, you're in the wrong business, baby. You don't get into the sales business seeking validation from your clients. This is the wrong business to do that. This is not the business to seek feel good. "Well, Alex, I want my clients to like me because if they like me, they'll buy from me." Oh my gosh, dude. You are so, your thinking is so backwards. You want your clients to respect you because you care enough to help them. Okay. And so I'm battling this
Hey,
mentality.
Alex, that's the car business. If you want someone to like you, respect you, and all that other bullshit, go in the car business.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Absolutely. You got to understand that your mission is to protect these families. Now, look, if they don't want to do it, great. But we teach you all the proper techniques to get themselves out of their own way so you can move forward and take care of them. Okay. Again, people think that they're going to be a pushy salesperson. You're not even close. You are not even close. So you really put that mentality out of your head.
So I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I feel like I could gather something from that. So let's say I go back to that conversation yesterday and I didn't get off the phone. Would you say, I wouldn't say so much force my way in, but make it realistic to the guy that he is going to pass away soon, and without having things in order,
Yeah. There's so
that
okay. So
last chance.
I get your question. And trust me, this is a business of nurturing and kindness, but we got to be kind in a bold way. What does that mean? It sounds like kind of talking two ends of the spectrum. We got to care enough about them that we're willing to tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, but they need to hear. Okay. And in a situation like that, there's a way to finesse it such that it's like, hey, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure you're devastated. My wife went through. Okay, I could say that. My wife went through cancer. You know, I know you're probably not thinking right, etc. But there's a reason why I'm on this phone talking to you. And look, the reality of your situation is, you know, you sent this form in or you answered the social media ad for a reason. And so let me ask you just basically, what was that reason? Why did you want me to call you? And then I'd let them answer that question because I want to get them back to why they filled out the form anyway. It's like, well, I just want to make sure that, my family would be covered and they wouldn't have to pay for a funeral. Like, okay, all right. Now look, who knows what's going to happen with your cancer? Your cancer, you might be gone 6 months from now, or you might be gone 5 years from now, or you could go into remission, right? I mean, all these possibilities exist. Is that correct? And he'll say, yeah. Well, do you know that that is probably no different than when you sent this in and you didn't know you had cancer? Because, you don't know that you're going to get hit by a car tomorrow, right? That's what we're dealing with, isn't it? Uncertainty of as to when I'm going to pass away and is my family going to be taken care of. Would you agree with that statement? Well, yeah, we can get you covered. The policy will be a policy that we call guaranteed issue. It'll pay out the full amount after 2 years. If you should die in an accident in the first 2 years, it'll pay the full amount. If you die within the 2 years, your family will get the amount of premiums you paid plus 10%. Then they could use that tax-free to help with the funeral cost. That is what I can offer you right now. And in your situation, I know it's tough. I have a lot of friends that have gone through what you're going through. And I know it's not easy to think about something like this, but this is probably the most important time to start thinking about something like this. So look, they have me coming over tomorrow in your area. I'll be there between 5 and 7 or between 3 and 5. Which one would work better for you? So I just book it. Look, the reason why I can do that is because I care about him. I care about his family. I care about wanting to do what's right for them. And I will say it as sincere and sincerely as I just said it to you, right? And we run this all the time. We run into a situation, we call the client, and that person died right? We're talking to the wife, and she'll say, there'd be a long pause. Hey, is Joe there? Long pause. Hello? And then she'll come back. This happened to me numerous times. Joe died last week. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences, ma'am. My condolences. Let me tell you why I'm calling. We received this form in the mail that Joe sent in. He was looking for burial insurance to make sure that when he died, you would be able to get the money to be able to pay for his funeral. I apologize. I tried to call as soon as I could, but so apparently just wasn't going to happen. Anyway, I want to accept my sincere condolences. Listen, if your family's looking for anything, need any kind of help with life insurance coverage, I'll give you a call in 2-3 weeks, maybe a month from now, and then, maybe we can talk with a clear head and see how we can help you make sure this doesn't happen, to any other family member. Fair enough, ma'am? I'd do that. She could hang up, she could do whatever, but at least I'm going to try. That's one thing about this business is you never know what's going to happen. All you have to do is give it your best shot to go back in there and do what you need to do, because it's your job to take care of families, right? Did I say anything about making money? I've not said anything about making money, right? Everything I've talked about is protecting families and helping them make the right decision for their families, right? And if you do that with the right intent, then, the best will happen. Okay. That's all we can do. If you do it with the wrong intent, then all kinds of bad stuff will happen, right? So, oh, hey, Rochelle. So you finished up that app, huh, Rochelle? Hello, Rochelle.
Yes, I did. And actually, um, everything that you were just saying, is the reason why it took me a little bit longer to write this app, because she was very chatty and she wanted to wait. She's like, I think I need to think about this. And I was already an hour into it. So I was like, oh no, I'm still in this policy. You are taking it today, girlfriend. And the thing is, her husband passed away, and he didn't have a life insurance policy, but they had enough money to get him buried. And then she had a son who passed away, and they had to rely on family and friends. And so after telling me all of this, at the end, she's like, well, I think I need to think about it. And what do you think I did? I said, think about how it felt when you had to ask your son or your family when your son. Think about how it felt not having a policy for your husband. Do you want your 2 daughters, and I named them, Erin and Rebecca, to have to do that for you? And she's like, I don't think I'm killing over. And I said, tomorrow is not promised. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And she's just like, you're right. And I said, we can get it done today. You can set your payment to come out on the 15th. And rewrote the policy.
I love that. See, Rochelle knows what she's doing for her job. Rochelle knows her job, right? She knows what her job is. And so she goes out there and protects families because it's her job. And she's not an a-hole. She is nice, but she doesn't pussyfoot around being a wimp. She gets the job done.
And I'm going to tell you why. And I shared this before, and I'm going to share it again. I've been the chaplain in the room with the deceased right there, and the family crying their eyes out. And more times than not, they would say, we don't know if we have any life insurance, or we don't have a life insurance, or the person just got a critical diagnosis and him and his wife, or her and her husband, they're talking about, what does this mean for life insurance? We don't have life insurance. And to be in that space with people not knowing what they're going to do, it is extremely uncomfortable, and you feel the fear and the emotion, and I've been in that space. And so I'll share this again. There is nothing that you're going to do that's going to hurt them by getting them a life insurance policy. Everything you're doing is helping them protect their loved ones. And so I use the by any means necessary. I'm like, I mean, to the extent, because, you know, even though they don't know it at the time, they don't want their family to suffer, unless you just have somebody who doesn't care. And I've had those people, and then you sell them a hospital indemnity policy because they only care about themselves.
That is actually a good point. Actually a good point. So